one, but in terms of potential world ranked number ones, it's Fan Zhendong right there, currently world ranked number 2. And interestingly enough, German Open semi-finalist. I'll tell you more about his results in a moment, but it's between Fan Zhendong and Dima, or Ovcha as they say in China. Just rounds of 16s and 32s for the 36-year-old. Zhuang Jiyuan has had a streaky last few years, taking the Hungarian Open at the start of 2016, the first tournament on the World Tour. Occasionally pulls off some big upsets. Fan Zhendong with so much power on both sides. And we've been talking, well, I guess I've been talking about quads a lot. Fan Zhendong, it's tough not to stare. We've got Zhuang Jiyuan's brother in the background there. That's Zhuang Zhisheng, who's been his coach for some time, former player himself. The family, the Zhuang family, Zhuang's mom has been his coach and a high-level coach for some time down in Kaohsiung in Taiwan. Zhuang Jiyuan actually coaching a bit himself. I believe after Tokyo 2020 will move into a coaching role. Fan Zhendong, on the other hand, a long time ahead of him. And it looks like, if I can see from here, Wang Hao by jacket in the corner. Sure enough, it is Wang Hao, the legendary pen holder, 3-time Olympic silver medalist in singles. Spent 27 months at world number 1, but Ma Long has spent 34 months at world number 1. Still number 1 in the world, but after this month will no longer be. Fan Zhendong to start off in this best of 7 love all. So things you should know about Fan Zhendong and what sort of pressure is on him. Well, one, he was beaten by Dima last time they played in the semifinals in Germany. 2, if Dima wins his first match of this tournament against Koki Niwa, he will be world number 1. But last time they played, Koki Niwa won that match, and it was at the World Championships in Germany. Now, if Dima loses to Koki Niwa for some reason as Fan Zhendong stretches out, it's rare to see. Have to hope he's okay. I know everyone would love to see this match, and more importantly, everyone would love to see their favorite players healthy. Strong start for Chwani here. I was gonna say, if Dima loses his first match, the only way he will not be number 1 in the world is if Fan Zhendong wins this tournament, which he is arguably a strong favorite to do. So the plot really does thicken. Again, Fan Zhendong has to win every match in this tournament, and Dima has to lose his first. So that means, if there's so many different ways to say this, but if Fan Zhendong loses this match, Dima is automatically number 1 in the world. If Fan Zhendong loses any match, including the final, Dima will be number 1 in the world regardless of his results in this tournament. That's how well his year has been going. It's like showing up for a final, or it's like coming into a final with such a high grade in a class you don't even need to take the final. Even a 0 and you can still end up getting an A in your class. That's the story here. Zhuang Jiyuan, a very streaky player, very aggressive player. Both sides, one of very few players that keeps up with the Chinese pace of play in the counter-looping game. You have to love that step behind attack. The right foot came behind, backed up to create room to get that full stroke right near the back of the table. Solid forehand flip, but Fan Zhendong is there. So 3 quick points in a row for Fan Zhendong. It's interesting, a lot of fans like to know which Chinese players speak the best English. Fan Zhendong has really impressed me. I think he's moved up to number 4 on the Chinese national team for the men. In terms of his English, that is. I discovered after the German Open that when he's not so nervous, he can be quite comfortable to speak English. Chwani, on the other hand, fluent in English. His mom told him to take lessons when he was quite young, and he played in Europe for a long time as well. This can be a very effective serve. A bit shorter on the table to the forehand side. Light underspin with the pendulum serve. But again, the contact tough to read. You'll notice most of the players at this level don't follow through on their serves. Very subtle contact, try to stop at the point of contact. That cannon backhand, very quick. Fan Zhendong manages to get so much backswing from very little motion. That flip pays off this time. Chwani's gone for that forehand flip a few times. Against players like Fan Zhendong, it's so important to keep him out of position behind the table. If he gets the first attack, you're ducking hot water. Now, like Timo said, the new ball does tend to favor the more experienced players. Zhuang Zhiyuan between the two out there right now is definitely the more experienced player, being the top player from Taiwan for a good decade and a half. A little bit late to come in for the push, pops it up, and it's tied up. Soft hands, Fan Zhendong. That touch game. Oh, back edge of the table, a break for Chwani. Oh, smart placement, steps around and takes the risk. The attempt to get back into position if he goes cross court, it's the safer shot and it buys him more time to get back, but he goes for broke here. Says, you know what? Fan Zhendong's deep in the backhand court. I can't afford to play it there. And that face, watching Fan Zhendong's face, I wonder if he's in pain. He's been stretching out that left leg. We saw him down around the knee, maybe just over. Oh, cracking forehand from the middle. Game point saved by Fan Zhendong. Chwani has such a clean game. Second game point here with his serve. Spinny ball, bit of side and top on it, and Fan Zhendong saves another game point. I try not to watch the other table. Well, when the crowd erupts like that, you have to wonder if Timo Boll hit a hand-switching shot again or something like that. Deuce in game number one. Under the net this time, a softer spinny shot. Game point back to Zhuang Zhiyuan. Wang Hao watching, building his thoughts. A timeout for Zhuang Zhiyuan in game one. When do we see this? Quite rare. See the glue on the edge of the racket there, freshly glued racket. And the ball has been collected from underneath Zhuang Zhiyuan's racket. Look at the shaving down near the base of the racket, right at the handle. That can be good sometimes. I see players doing that for the backhand to create more comfort when they tuck back. Also for the service, a little bit greater flexibility in the wrist. It's funny, I have a close friend who plays the same way, but it's his brother in the corner, Zhuang Zhishong, who is advising and guiding Zhuang Zhiyuan through this match. A little bit of silence there. It seemed like a lot of thought. Seemed like more of a discussion than just simply words to follow. But nonetheless, this first game is quite important. When a player like Fan Zhendong gets confident, he is tough to stop. We've seen it within China, we've seen it around the world. So game point to Chwani out of the timeout. What a shot, again, right near the back of the table. Fan Zhendong steals it from over, gets a full swing. Let's see if we can see this last shot. Wow, that was inside the table. Another game point saved. Oh, tries to play the inside-out forehand, the bending shot. Fan Zhendong moving around Chwani and finding the middle. Outstanding rally. Now game point, back to Xiao Kuaizi. Oh, burned! Shoe marks. The punch back to the middle of the table. Quick reaction from Chwani. The rocket backhand, and as soon as he turns, this is a pattern. With experience, Zhuang Zhiyuan knows to expect it. Fourth towel break of the game, you know what the score is. No timeouts left for Zhuang Zhiyuan. Oh, and it gets past. The opportunity is there. The table is open. Fan Zhendong with a good opportunity. Another game point for Zhuang Zhiyuan. The service error. We've seen some tough ones today. Miu Hirano against match point, 1 point away from deuce in game 7. With Chwani back at deuce again, 4th deuce point in the first game. Oh, smart placement. I was impressed that Zhuang Zhiyuan was able to recover with the backhand from off balance. Still keeps some power on. Where is it? Just the end of the point there. Game point, Fan Zhendong. Long serve in the follow-up attack. We're seeing a lot of power out of Zhuang Zhiyuan. Just amazing to think about the physical fitness of Fan Zhendong. And then that somebody 16 years older than him, Zhuang Zhiyuan handed his driver's license, Fan Zhendong being born. Once again, that cracking backhand. Chwani plays it out to the middle of the table to stay on top of that ball. This isn't a soft block, this is a counter. This is a short block. And he has to guide it forward to keep it fast enough to be out of reach for Fan Zhendong. Game point once again, the score climbing. So we come into the 5th towel break of the game. The only score possible, of course, 15 all. When Chwani has stepped around in that rally and played it out to the forehand side, he's won some big points. We'll see if he can get to that point in the rally once again. Fan Zhendong looking to do something else. Cracking shots back and forth. Such a difficult first attack for Zhuang Zhiyuan, but he manages to stay on top. This ball right here, low and deep to the backhand corner. Bold play from Zhuang Zhiyuan, but the last ball just a bit wide to the forehand and out in front. Game point back to Fan Zhendong. Long serve and a quick escape. A quick point, Fan Zhendong 17-15 in game number 1, takes the first game. Crowd will be discussing this one as Twani scratches his head. Game number 2 will come up right after this. Now here's a combination that Twani couldn't find in the end of game 1. Fast long serve into the body, get Fan Zhendong off balance and play it wide to the forehand. Strong start to the match so far for Twani. Despite that, he still is behind in games. Again, a lot of conversation with Timo Boll yesterday. He said some of his best matches that he's ever played, he's lost, one of which was against Fan Zhendong. World Championships. I think that was 2015 in Suzhou. Surely it was 4-2 for Fan Zhendong. If I remember correctly, that was the one where Timo Boll had a point from the ground. Fan Zhendong finished, but Timo made the shot. Another solid start for Twani. Soft touch from Twani, leaves it over the table. Fan Zhendong caught an indecision. You know, when we think about Fan Zhendong falling under some pressure, you know, there's been some change in equipment recently. A lot of changes within the Chinese National Association. But the one player who's been in front of Fan Zhendong for the longest time is Ma Long, the only player who's kept Fan Zhendong from being #1 in the world. And it looks like Dmitry Ovcharov is the most likely to step in there. Is Ma Long slowing down? We know he just became a father, which is quite exciting. Oh, the edge of the table after all that. I just can't believe how hard they can hit the ball. The fact that the ball doesn't crack the middle of this rally. The speed on these shots. Jumps out into the body off the edge. Clever idea, but Fan Zhendong right back in. Yeah, I do wonder if the fatherhood factor for Ma Long will slow down his game a bit. Not many knew. He was pretty private about his baby on the way. But timing-wise, the Men's World Cup, that could have been a big factor. It's really interesting to see how hard these guys hit the ball from this far behind the table. The differences in the men's and women's game, it's so fascinating. Women up close, very quick off the bounce. Men dipping a bit far back, going for power. Little break here for Twani. Back up by 1. This has been quite a fight so far. These two have been playing almost dead even. Total points right now, Twani's only 1 behind. 21 to 22 points scored. Deep to the backhand corner though, Fan Zhendong finding some rhythm, some comfort on the table. Second towel break of the game and they're tied. Rare we see this, a spinny ball blocked down into the net. In a rally like this anyway. Now this is something that Timo said Waldner did incredibly well, would loop the ball with less spin than it appeared. This comes with experience, being able to disguise your spin so well. So 7 points apiece, they're tied up. I love these rallies. Just can't believe how much spin and how much pace they get on a ball that's so short in the stroke. Again, the whole body working together on this. It's not just the wrist. Obviously, the wrist has a lot to do with it. But it's not a coincidence that they look the way they do from head to toe. Good placement from Fan Zhendong. A little bit of hesitation from Chouani. Early in the match is important. Again, the more of a lead that Fan Zhendong gets, the more confident he'll be, the less tense, the smoother he'll be. In the short game, the push rally, Chouani takes it. Haven't seen a lot of forehand flips from Chouani. Notice he keeps a little bit of side rotation on that. Comes in at the side of the ball, make it a little less obvious how deep the bounce will be, help keep the ball short, caress it. The big backhand brings Fan Zhendong in over the table and follows up deep. Third towel break of the game, and it's 2 game points for Chouani. He had more than 2 in game 1 at deuce. Trying to remember, maybe he was even up. No, I don't think he was up 10-8 in game 1. Either way, it's Fan Zhendong with the serves here if he can get through the first. And there it is, a quality receive. Zhuang Zhiyuan ties up the match at 1 game apiece. We will see. Anybody could beat anybody here in this tournament. That's the beauty of watching the World Tour Grand Finals. Game 3 coming up right after this. Back for game number 3. It's tied up 1 apiece. Fan Zhendong with the serve. You can expect that Fan Zhendong will be a little bit more tense. This is only natural when the pressure builds. In some senses, Zhuang Zhiyuan has nothing to lose. He's expected to lose this match.
Chwani has a chance at this one. Not an easy ball after popping up the receive like that, but he was in the right place, went the right way. Light topspin there, tries to play it softly. Just under the white at the top of the net. Longer serve in that third ball with the backhand. Power, serious power. I think a lot of people forget how powerful Zhuang Zhiyuan is. He just has a very clean game. Really exciting to watch, fighting all over. Almost. Gotta love it. Heavy, heavy side spin from in near the body. Love to see this point again. But it seems like that'll happen later. So Fan Zhendong ties it up. First towel break of the game. The one before. I'd be curious to see Fan Zhendong's equipment right now. If I remember correctly, in Sweden he was using the Feng ball blade. Well, I could tell you what's going on, but I'll tell you after the match. Oh, bent right into the middle. Chwani goes for the forehand shot and leaves open the forehand side. Can be tough to take the middle like that. When the program is over, you can go to ittf.com or tv.ittf.com. Watch on ITTV all the matches streamed from tables 1 and tables 2. Table 1 and table 2, rather. Yuya Oshima and Timo Boll just finished. Definitely one I want to go back to watch. One thing Zhuang Zhiyuan does so well is he gets in for the short game but manages to get back and keep his weight forward to stay on top of Fan Zhendong's opening attack. Little break off the net mid-rally from Fan Zhendong. For me, Chwani to make that full forehand stroke early near the table. Quite impressive. Nice soft spin shot, plays the other way. Lets the arm drag behind. Funny, I saw Chuang Zhixiong at the Collegiate National Championships inside Taiwan, despite Chwani not competing. I think he was coaching for one of the college teams. And the tongue out there, some expression. The disappointment as Chwani lets this one get away. Has a chance to tie it up. He did, and now he does with 2 serves, but he's gonna have to get both of these points. Oh, slipped once again. That's gotta hurt the hamstring. He turns quickly. I can tell you, and you can probably tell for yourself, Fan Zhendong is not a light player. While he's muscular, he's thick and strong. I haven't had much of a chance to talk to Fan Zhendong since I arrived in Astana. I am curious, though, about the right knee. Actually forgot which one it was. Oh, surprise! Gets back out of the way on the backhand side. Still turns and plays it down the line. Touch shot, left over the table. Soft flip, quick reaction. Not an especially soft flip. The placement was good, not good enough. 3 in a row for Chwani. Soft flip, trouble. Third towel break of the game. This game will only be won by the difference of 2 points. Bold pays off. Look at that fight. I don't think I've heard Zhuang Zhiyuan shout that loud since 2014 in Yokohama at the World Team Championships after his comeback against Ju Se-hyuk, which is one of the most amazing and memorable matches. Probably a top 10 of the last 3 years. Game point to Chwani. Long serve, but the third ball does not land. There's got to be a still shot somewhere of that pose Zhuang Zhiyuan did. It's like an ice skating move. Up on 1 foot, throws the head back. So deuce in game number 3. The serve on Fan Zhendong's side. For Chwani to survive after that ball sits up a little bit high. Fan Zhendong plays a safer spin shot. Leaves it out in front. Game point to Fan Zhendong. Oh, the long push gets him. Surprise long push. A receive we don't see so often from Fan Zhendong. 12-10. Fan Zhendong takes the lead. He's up 2-1, and we'll be back for game 4 right after this.
From Japan, Masaki Yoshida. And from China, Li Gaoyuan. Russian Federation, and Lady Ryamanesh, Iran.
Back for game number 4, Chwani with the serve. Now, depending on what happens here, those of you watching right now live know that the start of this match has been very close. And every game could have gone either way. The only one that was decided by more than 2 points was Chwani's game number 2. So much power on that backhand. Again, Fan Zhendong the more powerful of the 2 players, but not by as much as memory might tell you. Shots that powerful, Fan Zhendong is producing more often than Zhuang Zhiyuan. Beautiful spin shot. The placement on this one sends Chwani on the run. Just too clean of an opening here for Fan Zhendong when he gets that big swing in. Especially with the placement, it's going to be tough for a counterattack. There's so many potential upsets in this tournament. Thinking about all the matches, again, a lot of people might recall Kirill Gerasimenko versus Tomokazu Harimoto, the Czech Republic. Wow, that backhand again. And the hand to the back. Fan Zhendong, I mean, the game he plays is so physically demanding. I was going to say Tomokazu Harimoto beats Timo Boll and everybody he plays in that tournament, but along the way, Kirill Gerasimenko was very close in Game 7 to Harimoto. Seemed like a bit of fortune there, top of the net for the last shot from Fan Zhendong. Oh, maybe not. Just so fast, my goodness. Different camera angle changes everything. That's how hard Fan Zhendong can hit the ball. Just can't even understand what you're looking at sometimes in real time. It needs to be slowed down. Softer spinny ball for placement. Delicate touch there on the bottom of the shoe from Fan Zhendong. How does he get that back? Racket head up, covering the middle with the backhand side, put some side spin on it as well. Fan Zhendong gets a full stroke here. Chwani backing away from the table, manages to find the spot. That little extra time he gets backing off works out and pays off. Second towel break of the game. Chwani's not going to want to lose too many points this way. He's not going to want to lose points, period. But backing off the table, the soft backhand, missing the contact. Maybe I should say 75% backhand. There we go, the fire is back. 3-point lead. Right off the bounce, no time. Fan Zhendong, in terms of motivation in his step out here, mentally is just in a weird place, it appears. You could see how much more rotation was on the receive than the serve itself. And already starts his stroke, gets his feet moving quickly. Fan Zhendong looking a little bit slower from the middle here. 5 game points. Chwani playing it right down the middle. One game point saved. Still 4 to go for Zhuang Zhiyuan. And remember, he's got no timeouts. His was used in game number 1. But if he did, could imagine sometime around now you'd be hearing a timeout call. Explosive forehand there from Fan Zhendong. The backhand-to-backhand rally has been good for Zhuang Zhiyuan. Just didn't pay off here. What about that forehand flip receive? Oh, and he gets away with the game. 11-8. Zhuang Zhiyuan takes it and ties it up at 2 games apiece. No forehand flip needed. Game number 5 coming up right after this. And as time is called, we come back for game number 5. 20 cleaning the table quickly for a good honest bounce. Make sure there are no particles, dust particles or rubber particles on the table. Sometimes little bits of the edge of the racket come off in the push game when someone follows through and gets the table. Fan Zhendong losing the last game, starting with the serve though. For a few points in a row, we started to see some real spring in the step of Fan Zhendong. Again, his body language, the energy just doesn't seem to be the same that we're used to. To recover that ball, I thought he would have fallen down, but he gets a loop back on the table and then plays a backhand from below the table. Love to see this one again. Hooking forehand to finish. Oh, the edge of the table once again. These rallies, though, so much power going both ways. It's the second time Fan Zhendong has escaped these fast blasting rallies with an edge ball, and quick to apologize. Towel break. The way he dropped the racket, it felt like a timeout of frustration, but we know that he's got no timeouts left. There it is, too hard. Deep to the corner and the opposite way from the middle of the table. I think Fan Zhendong has left more skid marks on his side of the court than any player we've seen today. Just a second behind, a moment behind. That's the pace that Zhuang Zhiyuan is playing at right now. Top edge of the racket, you could hear the frustration from 20. It's quite amazing looking back on the ITTF page. Fan Zhendong didn't win a tournament this year on the World Tour. Being number 2 in the world and playing the same year that Ma Long isn't playing much. A very memorable men's singles final from Dusseldorf, the World Championships against Ma Long. Middle of the table for 20. Haven't seen much of that so far this match. Soft hands, the touch game. You know, Fan Zhendong really took some points here quite quickly. It still doesn't feel like he's got the energy that we've seen from him, but part of that is that Zhuang Zhiyuan's playing so well. But these points are big. To be up 3-2, Zhuang Zhiyuan has a lot of work cut out for him. Second towel break of the game, and neither player goes for the towel. Fooled on the serve, coming in for the backhand. Trying to get over the forehand side of the table. Fan Zhendong continuing his streak, running away with this game. Oh, long serve, but it's not placed perfectly enough. If Fan Zhendong's coming in for the backhand, that's going to be trouble, but he waits patiently at the back, turns to take the forehand. 5 game points for Fan Zhendong. Oh, the flip comes back wide to the forehand. 11-5, a dominant game for Fan Zhendong. The score says a lot more. We will see. It's a 3-2 lead for world rank number 2, Fan Zhendong. Game number 6 coming up right after this.